My name is Adrian Nantchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification next to it for the latest uploads. Now, find inspiration from everyone. Everyone in the world that ever existed has something that you can learn from. One little bit of knowledge, nugget of gold, silver or copper, because there's no such thing as bronze nuggets, only ingots, that you can learn from. There's always something that everyone in the world can learn from someone else. Abraham Lincoln put it best when he said that, "I never met a person that I couldn't learn something from, and often it was what not to do in life." So I look at people from history and even contemporaries and endeavour to learn their life, learn their biography, read their biography, learn about them. What journeys and experiences did they go through? Behind this camera, I have got the biography of Steve Jobs, Tony Blair, Benazir Bhutto, Alex Ferguson, Lee Evans, Norman Wisdom, Tim Burton, George Washington, Alex Salmond, Winston Churchill, Jordan Belfort, John Cleese, Freddie Mercury, Ken Livingstone, Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, Susan Boyle, I. Partridge, Johnny Depp and Albert Speer. Below that I've got Arnold Schwarzenegger, Duncan Bannatyne, Gorbachev, the firefighters who were in the 9/11 building, the Twin Towers, Chris Hadfield, Howard Hughes. I've got Mein Kampf, I've got the Apollo 13 crew, I've got Jeff Bezos, I've got the Facebook effects, so that's like the behind the scenes at Facebook. I've got the stories of the people who were last surviving World War I members. I have Walt Disney, Abramovich, Oscar Pistorius, Oliver Cromwell, Sam Walton, and the guy behind Minecraft, Notch. I forgot his name. So yes, some of these people I've never met. Some of them are dead before I was even born. Some of these people I don't agree with, politically or otherwise. Some of these people I don't fully understand what they did or why they did it, or their decisions and thought process. But there's something I can learn from them. I can find inspiration from their life experience. And there's a book here, Richest Man in Babylon. It's essentially stories, parables of ancient Babylon and different lessons you can learn in about money. And this exact same principle can be applied by reading the biographies of Steve Jobs and Benazir Bhutto. And I remember when both of them died as well. There's always something you can learn from them. What not to do in life. Because for example, Tony Blair, people may not agree with him and disagree with what he did in his policies, but he was Prime Minister for 10 or so years. Prime Minister of a major power, the UK. There's definitely something you can learn from him. His strategic thinking, his planning, his decision making. He won at least two general elections, so he knows something. He's smart. David Cameron, Ed Balls released a biography nearly a year ago, and David Cameron is bound to release one within the next year. Ed Balls is in Parliament, Shadow Chancellor, I believe, for years and years, and David Cameron won 2 elections and won more or less 2 referendums, 2012 and 2015, or 2014 even, Scottish referendum. He knows something. I'm going to read both. They're complete opposite sides of the political spectrum, but they're worth reading. This is why in the future I want to read books like Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith and yet Communist Manifesto to understand both sides of the argument. Both understand, not just have hyperbole or some thinking of it or some thought or some belief behind it, but understand both sides of the argument. So every person you meet, there's something golden you can learn from them. What not to do or what to do in life. Some life lesson. Even though someone, say, twice my age or 80 odd years old and they could have died, everyone, there's something you can learn from. So it's up to you and up to me to actually, it's like a river of life. All these different people, like different boats or people go down the river, and each of them leaves a golden nugget behind. And it's up to you to panhandle through the entire river, looking for those golden nuggets, and realising life lessons that are invaluable. Because there's a convergence rate, economics, a convergence rate. When an icebreaker ship going through ice, say North Pole, takes them 6 months to make a canal down this 1 mile length of ice. It takes them 6 months to dig through it, right? And then once they've dug through it, it takes smaller boats a week to traverse that mile, or whatever, I don't know, a day or something, to traverse that mile. So that means that this person has pioneered that. They've learned it the hard way. That icebreaker had to physically break through the ice to clear that canal. Everyone else just I don't know. Not swims, they just drive down. They down through it. They just go through it. These people have learned life lessons the hard way. Read their book. There's a life lesson for you right there. There's something you can apply. A mistake that you can avoid, and that is invaluable because you can learn. You can avoid their mistake today. What took them years to figure out, or took them years to learn, and then you can avoid it. Learn the lesson in a paragraph, and it's like, oh, don't do that. Oh, interesting concept, and you've done it. Suddenly you're getting ahead. Everyone else out there, they only look at one. Generally speaking, people only look at one side of the argument, and they have a thing called backfire effect, where whenever you're being presented with opposing arguments to what you believe in, you're actually reinforcing your original belief. But by being open-minded and listening to, reading Mandela, reading Obama, reading Ken Livingstone, and other people like Alex Salmond, Winston Churchill, Jordan Belford, Alex Ferguson, and learning about how they did things, what they did wrong, getting ahead, that's what's important. Learn a lesson. Take inspiration from other people. So the question of the day is, who can you take inspiration from? For example, I don't particularly agree with Tony Blair, but I've got his book right there, A Journey. Benazir Bhutto, first some female Prime Minister, I think, of Pakistan. Something you can learn from her. Gorbachev, my father's generation say that he betrayed the Soviet Union. No idea. Let's have a read. Walt Disney, don't know much about him. Oliver Cromwell, some people would say that he was England's first and only dictator. Ooh, but you know, he led an army, he won a civil war, he led a country for a few years, he was Lord Protectorate. There's something you can learn from him, some smart stuff from 400 years ago, definitely. And even books over here. Oh, no, mostly over there. Howard Hughes. George Washington. Crap, you can learn a lot from him. Apparently he was a bit of a twat, like 20 years before the revolution, but I don't know. Susan Boyle. People always dismissed her before she went on the X Factor in like 2009, and she just skyrocketed. Johnny Depp. He's been in a bit of controversy lately, but some comments made at Glastonbury, but he's an accomplished actor, and he spends like, well, he's not very good with his finances, but he's an accomplished actor. He knows a thing or two about creating films, and probably about working with people. Albert Speer, he was armaments minister during the World War II for the Germans. He knows something about management, something about logistics and infrastructure. He might mention a few things in that book. He might mention some lessons he might have learnt while working in the inner circles of Adolf Hitler. You never know. Winston Churchill's book right there. There could be a lot of golden nuggets there. You don't know. Who are you going to take inspiration from? You can learn a simple basic lesson from them. So, if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button and press the bell notification next to it for the latest uploads. How cool is that?